yesterday I uploaded my prediction video for this fight, and I predicted that David Haye would win a 10-round points decision. This has been a very difficult fight for me to pick. I've been back and forth in my mind about this fight from the day it was signed, but I've always been slightly leaning towards Dereck Chisora. Yeah, that's what's been going through my head. I've been slightly leaning towards Dereck Chisora from the beginning, but going back and forth, you know what I mean? Sometimes I think, rah, maybe David can do it. I don't know, back and forth. But basically, yeah, I was eventually swayed to pick David Haye because of the weigh-in. I thought, rah, Dereck's a little bit heavier than I expected. He's about half a stone heavier than he was against Klitschko. So I was thinking maybe he won't have the foot speed to be able to keep up with David Haye, right? So what I did today is I went and looked at the fights, at old fights of Dereck Chisora, where he weighed around the same weight that he's weighing in this fight against David Haye, 247 pounds, right? And I went and looked at those fights because I wanted to see what type of movement, what type of foot speed and agility he had at that weight. And I was surprised to see, you know, going back and looking at those fights again after a long time, that weighing 247 pounds, he can still move around the ring quite well. Yeah, obviously it's not his ideal weight. I'd definitely like to see him under 240 pounds, ideally, right? And let's just get to this, you know, talk about Dereck Chisora being fat. Yeah, he is carrying body fat, but those people who say that Dereck Chisora should weigh like 210, 215 pounds, I mean, I don't know what type of crack you're smoking, right? People have got naturally different amounts of muscle on their body. Like David Haye, you know, David Haye always talks shit anyway, right? He himself will admit that he talks a lot of shit. Yeah, he's a good fighter, but he talks a lot of shit. You understand? You know, he's saying that if Dereck Chisora stripped all the fat off his body, he'd weigh the same as David. That's bullshit, right? Because they're around the same height, so he's trying to make out all the extra weight that Dereck has on David, the 40 pounds or 37 pounds, whatever it is just all fat. It's bullshit. Dereck Chisora is a naturally bigger man. He's got a naturally bigger bone structure, naturally more muscle on his body. If you stripped all the fat away, you'd probably weigh about 230 pounds, maybe 235. Yeah, probably 230, right? He's around the same height as David. Mike Tyson is around the same height, right? A prime Mike Tyson, yeah? He's around the same height as Amir Khan, 5'10". But Mike Tyson weighed 217 pounds. Amir Khan weighs 147 pounds. Are you trying to tell me that Mike Tyson was fat? Yeah? Obviously not. He's just a bigger human being. Bigger bones, more muscle naturally. That's how it works. Dereck Chisora is a naturally bigger man than David Haye. Naturally stronger, naturally bigger. You know what I mean? That's how it is. So, anyway, from those fights that I looked at, Dereck Chisora can still move around quite well at 247 pounds. He keeps his head down, he keeps his hands up, and he uses a jab when he's coming in. An underrated jab and an underused jab. And I don't think David Haye, because David Haye's always been a guy who's a pot shotter and a counter puncher. He don't work for his openings. Yeah, he's not the kind of guy who, like a Tommy Hearns, who's going to come in with a jab, 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 and then as he gets close to you, bang you with a left hook to the body, get on the outside again, bang you with another left hook to the body, and maneuver you into position for his right hand, right? And then when you're scared of getting hit with the left hooks to the body, bam, then he's going to shoot the right hand through the middle and knock you out. David Haye don't do stuff like that. He's actually a much more basic fighter than that. Yeah, he just, you know, moves around the ring, waits to see you reaching in with a punch, and then hits you with a counter. Yeah, or beats you to the punch. You understand? That's what David Haye, he either likes to beat you to the punch or hit you with a counter, right? Or see you off balance and then jump in with an opportunistic, you know, shot from long range. That's how David Haye fights. He's actually a very one-dimensional guy. Yeah, he's not a guy who's going to break you down with a jab, hit you with body shots. The only fight where I really saw him doing that to an opponent is the Mormek fight and maybe the Fragamini fight, but more so the Mormek fight. Yeah, and I know those are come forward fighters, right? But I think Dereck Chisora is going to be just too big for him to break him down that way. I think if he's going to knock Chisora out, I might be wrong on this, you get me? I think if he's going to knock Chisora out, he's going to have to catch him with like an uppercut or one of them hard shots somehow. Maybe he's going to have to make Chisora frustrated and get wild and then, you know, catch him with something. But even then, Chisora's shown a pretty good chin so far, right? I know he was buzzed by Robert Helenius, and that's still an open question. You know, he took the shots from Klitschko, but how hard was Klitschko hitting on the back foot? You know, he did actually hit Klitschko bang on the chin. I was wrong in my previous video where I said he wasn't really hitting him on the chin. David Price, you know, was the one who made that statement that, you know, Klitschko weren't really catching Chisora on the chin. He was catching him on the chin. He was catching him on the chin. And Chisora hardly blinked when he took them shots. You understand? So I think I'm going to give Chisora the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to say he can take quite a few of David Haye's shots, right, and keep coming forward. Yeah, I know speed is power. Sometimes when a shot comes out the blue and you don't expect it, it has twice the impact. Do you understand what I'm saying? Whereas Klitschko's shots were a bit slower, Chisora knew when they was coming. You know what I mean? So there is the possibility David Haye could just shock him with the power and speed combination and hurt him that way. But I don't know, I'm going to take a gamble and say, you know what, I think Dereck will take the shots. And I think he keeps his head down well enough, his hands up, you know, with his head movement, that he'll be able to kind of ride a lot of those right hands and left hooks that are coming in. And I think the key in this fight for Dereck Chisora needs to be the jab. The head movement and jab as he's coming in. Use a lot of pressure. And I can see David Haye outboxing him in the early rounds, right? But he's going to have to put on a lot of pressure because this is only a 10-round fight. Yeah, so you can't afford to give away too many rounds. So his trainer, Don Charles, is going to be telling him to fight at 100 miles an hour to put David Haye under intense pressure. And David Haye's going to be forced to fight. He's going to be forced to fight. He's going to be forced to really grit his teeth and try and land some big shots on Chisora's chin in this fight to keep him off. You understand? Whether or not he will, I don't know. That's the beauty of this fight. I really don't know what's going to happen. I'm trying to weigh up all the variables. You got a guy who's so much naturally bigger than the other guy, but the other guy's quicker and he's more accurate with his punches. You know, Haye's much more accurate than Dereck Chisora with his punches. Dereck Chisora can be a bit wild, not very precise with his shots. That's why I see the early rounds favoring David Haye. But one thing David Haye's got to be careful of is as he backs towards the ropes, which he always does against bigger opponents coming in at him, as he backs towards the ropes, right, he likes to, you know, let his opponent come and throw a shot, and then he likes to beat them to the punch. Yeah, and then he likes to spin away, right, to the side. What he needs to be careful of is if he throws a shot, especially if Chisora blocks it and he tries to spin away to get out of that situation, Chisora often throws big wide hooks, and as he's spinning out to the side, Chisora might catch him one of those big wide hooks. And I know Dereck Chisora is not noted as the biggest puncher in the world. Believe you me, David Haye don't have the greatest chin in the world, and if he connects flush with his full body weight behind the punch, David Haye's gonna go down, I think, anyway. You know what I mean? I'll be surprised if he don't. If he can take a full flush punch on the chin, I'll be very surprised. But I know he took, you know, some decent shots from Klitschko, but again, he was kind of leaning away from the shots. He rolled the punch a little bit. If he gets caught really flush and unexpected, you know, it could be lights out. So yeah, man, I'm really tempted to change my prediction in this fight and go for a Dereck Chisora points win. Because I'm going to give David the benefit of the doubt in terms of defense, that he'll be elusive enough and his movement will be good enough to maybe survive the 10 rounds. But it's going to be fought at a furious pace. And unless he can manage to land the clean shots, because David Haye likes to throw 1-2s and 1-2-3s and move away and fight in spurts. That's his pattern. That's how he always fights. He's not a guy to come out, throw combinations, jab, jab, left hook, left to the body, uppercut, right. He's not a combination guy like that. He moves around the ring. He likes to take his time, throw a jab here and there, throw a right hand, maybe 1-2-3, move away again. That's what he likes to do. He likes to fight at his own pace. Yeah. And, you know, people do pressure him. John Ruiz pressured him, but John Ruiz got hit with a shot and hurt. So he was a little bit tentative in pressuring him. Whereas Dereck Chisora, I think, will take a better shot than Ruiz. Will take a better shot than Thomas Bonin. He'll take a better shot than Monty Barrett, I think, anyway. And he's got better defense than all those guys also. So I'm going to give him the benefit. In fact, you know what? I think if this fight goes to points, it's going to be controversial. I think it's going to be controversial if it goes to points. I don't know. How long can David Haye, you know, hit and run for without hurting Dereck? Because that's the question in my mind. If you don't hurt Dereck, he might just get walked down and knocked out, or walked down and out hustled. And how's it going to look to the judges? You know, David running around all over the place. This is a Frank Warren show. Yeah? you would have thought that the judges are not going to favor David Haye in this fight. You get what I'm saying? Maybe they'll favor Dereck Chisora. Maybe they'll favor the aggressor. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to go. I can see Haye. I can still see Haye outboxing him with the extra speed, foot speed, hand speed, using that head movement to get out of the way. You know, Chisora's not that accurate, but if Chisora tucks up nice and tight, blocks those shots, keeps applying constant pressure, when they get close, bang Haye in the body, jab him to the chest. Yeah, if he does all that kind of stuff, he might just be able to start winning some rounds late in the fight, and maybe pull it around, maybe a draw. Imagine that. Imagine if this fight was a draw. But you know what? I'm very tempted to change my prediction. I'm very tempted to change my prediction and go for Dereck Chisora to win this fight on points. I'm very tempted. Tell me what you think. You think I should change my prediction? What do you think about Dereck Chisora's chin, his defense, the fact that he might be able to block a lot of these punches on his arms and gloves? David Haye's never fought a guy as good as a pressure fighter at heavyweight, as big and strong and tough as Dereck Chisora before. Thomas Bunning, he ain't no Dereck Chisora. You know, a washed up Monty Barrett, he's been on the floor so many times, it's unbelievable. Right? He don't have no chin. Right? John Ruiz, Andrew Gallotta dropped him. Yeah, he's never been knocked out. You know, he hadn't been knocked out since David Tua knocked him out, but he hadn't really fought a lot of big punches. Right? I know he fought Hasim Rahman, but if you go watch that fight, Rahman weren't there that night. Yeah? Gallotta dropped him with one punch, just like David did. He just couldn't finish him off. You understand? So, I don't know, man. I think Chisora's got a better chin than all those guys that David fought at heavyweight, apart from maybe Valuev, but I don't think David really hurt Valuev that badly. I think it was more of a balance issue for Valuev. He's a very big, tall, clumsy guy. He was knocked off balance, but I don't think he was really hurt. You understand? That's just my opinion. But what do you think? You think I should change my prediction tomorrow? I'm going to sleep on it tonight. And don't be surprised if I change my prediction tomorrow, yeah? So let me know what you lot think in the comment section below. This is Hatman. I'm out.